and Zena family. Our guest for today is a double MA holder, MA from Deccan University Archaeology and MA in Theatre from Miami University. And she also has directed more than 145 plays across India. And she's a regular teacher in Indira Gandhi National Open University. And she is also the creative head for um, Purple Umbrella Foundation. That's a children's initiative for, I think, climatic changes theatre. And she's written lots of books on drama. And currently, she is writing a book on music education with Robert Lee. Viewers, please join me in warmly welcoming Gauri Nilakanthan Mehta. Gauri, welcome to the show Aspire to Inspire.
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
So, Gauri, the first question to you from my side is, when someone meets you for the first time, how do you introduce Gauri beyond titles and achievements?
Evolved in the sense, every stage of my life has been very different.
Okay.
And you would look at me when I was 16, it was different. When it was 17, it was different. But today I'm much calmer and much more evolved. Yes, I would say evolved and calm.
Okay.
Be calm.
So, can you tell me something more about your childhood memories and the place where you grew up?
Absolutely. I would say I was like Winnie the Pooh in the magical woods because I
Okay.
got a very, very illustrious family.
Okay.
And my father was working for the presidents of India. So I
Okay.
lived in Bhavan for a very large part of my time. I
Okay.
lived in Rashtrapati Bhavan till I was
Wow.
1. So 21 years I lived there. So I
Wow.
like the magical woods. I was very protected. Obviously, you're living in a place like that, so you would be very protected. And I was
Right.
oblivious of the world outside. I thought that everybody lived in Rashtrapati Bhavan, you know.
Okay.
Not know that there was a big bad world outside because we were not exposed to that.
Right. Right.
It was a very beautiful childhood. Uh, all these big people kept coming in and out of the house, and of course, I would go back and forth to Vivi Giriji, who I considered more like a grandfather, sit in his lap without realizing that he's the president of India. You know,
Right. Right.
these things. Big people came in and out, but with I had no clue that they were big people. All I knew
Okay.
that of my father's, and my father had a. I always thought it was a life that everybody had. So it was
Right.
like La La Land, me living in.
Okay. 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 So, looking back, what was one memory you remember that inspired you or nudged you to get into this creative field?
Well, actually, I was a musician and
Okay.
loved music, and I just adored music, Western classical music. I grew
Right.
up with classical music in the afternoon. I would put it on and I would listen to really, really very fond of music. I
Okay.
intend musician, as I always talk about it. Music led me to theater, and that's how it all started. So it was not any one nudge, but I would say basically it was music that made me lead into, other creative forms. Yeah.
Okay. So, when ideas come to you while directing a play or writing a book, what is it that gives you the most ideas? Conversation, solitude, chaos, or a quiet environment?
Anything, whether it's everywhere. If it is
Okay.
chaos, it leads to some thought. If it is a calm environment, it leads to a different kind of a thought.
Okay.
Conversations lead to a different kind of a thought. So thoughts can come anytime. You know,
Okay.
sometimes I'm in the middle of the night. I think of something. I just jot a line or two lines in my WhatsApp and keep it. So that I can remember it the next day. So really, there's no one single moment that would lead to a creative output or something like that. It's all
Right.
that lead to. If you are creative, then anything can kind of make spur you to
Right.
write.
Right. I just attended a session yesterday. So there is this Urdu poet, Azhar Iqbal. So even he said the same thing. He said, like when I'm driving and
Yeah.
supposing a thought comes, so I park my car on the side, write it down, and then continue my driving.
Absolutely.
So that is there.
Yeah,
So
that
tell me
I tell.
something. Yeah, you wear many hats. Like you are a writer, you are a theater personality, you're an archaeologist, and you direct plays also. So which role uh, do you think that is very close to your heart? I mean, you relate to it the most?
Writing. I love writing,
Okay,
and writing especially. I just adore writing.
okay,
And if I had a way, I would not be directing. I direct because someone needs to direct and understand the scripts. I
right, right.
understand script. I enjoy writing. I just love writing. I adore writing.
Okay. Okay, so tell me something, which is the latest, and you are also the creative head for Purple Umbrella Foundation that deals with children, right? So can you throw some light on that?
Well, this Purple Umbrella Foundation, we started this. It's a three thing. We are three people. We are not just. I'm not doing it alone. I'm just the creative
Okay,
head.
okay,
We were talking about it because we see. I have done my theater. I do plays, commercial
right,
plays, running at a loss, running a profit, etc., etc. But we wanted to give back to the society, and we thought of a we thought of the thing which is closest to our heart, which is climate
yeah,
action and climate change. And we said, no,
right,
this is what we want to work with children. And then we decided to use that as one of the major things of Purple Umbrella Foundation. Of course, Purple Umbrella Foundation looks at other things, like looks at
okay,
children's rights, and basically for children. So that's how we started it. And we did a very big festival
okay,
last year at Bharat Mandapam with 750
okay,
children all across India coming and participating. They
wow,
you they used
right,
they did plays, they did films. There was a quiz. They also had declamation, and in fact, the first prize winner got 1 lakh rupees. And we brought in children
wow,
as
that's
far as
nice.
from Chennai. They came Chennai and from Panchgani, Chennai, Mayo College. Some good names,
Right,
some
right.
middle class, and some children were actually, the parents were landless laborers, servants, maids. Even they came and participated. So it was an
Oh,
amazing,
that's
amazing
nice.
experience. Yes, absolutely.
Right, right, right. So you also
Mm,
are a regular teacher at IGNOU. So how does that role
absolutely.
fit in here? Like, I mean,
Well, actually, IGNOU is a university that
yeah, I know.
gives
It's open schooling.
it tells you to write lesson plans. So I write lesson plans for IGNOU, which is
Okay,
then
okay,
for the masters and the bachelors. I write it, and then they are of course sent all over the world, etc. And then I also take online classes, but I'm not a regular employee of IGNOU, but I am a
okay,
counselor, academic counselor for IGNOU,
okay,
which is
okay,
done on a
okay.
part-time basis. And they call you project to project, but I'm regularly there. I mean, they call me almost every week to do something or the
Oh,
other for
that's
them.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, right, right.
because it's government university, so they have their own rules and regulations which are very strictly to be followed. And depending, and they even for employment, they have to strictly follow the government norms. The government norms for theatre doesn't have too much of since we don't have too many takers, they don't have too many permanent faculty. But yes, they have
Okay,
academic counselors, and I have the academic counselors. Yeah, for that. Yeah.
okay, okay. And how did this thought come of doing this double MA? Like the vast fields, MA in archaeology and MA in theater.
Well, actually, MA in archaeology and MA in theatre somehow related. We have to join the
Okay,
dots. Actually, I did MA in theatre, ancient Indian culture, archaeology,
okay,
and history. Ancient Indian culture was one
right.
of my specializations, and I really wanted to study iconography or the study of
Okay.
icons, and I wanted to study the evolution of the sitar because I was a
Oh,
guitarist, so
right.
I wanted to study that. So then I just joined the dots and went into cultural studies, and then I went to performance because I wanted to be a performer, and I did not want
Right.
to be a theoretician only. I also wanted to
Okay.
be a performer. And if you look at my work, I regularly do folklore and cultural studies at IGNOU, and I'm also an
Okay.
academician. As much as a performer, I'm also an academician. So 50%
Okay.
of my work is performance, 50% is academics. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, and you're currently, I think, writing a book on music education with Robert Lee. Am I right?
Yes,
So can you
I'm
tell us
writing
a
a
little
book on
about that?
music. Yes, there is a particular format for form
Okay,
of music
right.
education. See, music education is not sitting in the on the tabla and going ta din din ta din
Yeah,
din ta
yeah,
din ta,
right.
or going on the keyboard and saying, okay, now play do re mi. There is a beautiful method. There are several methods, and there's a method called
Right.
of Zoltan Kodály, who is a Hungarian, and he was a very very popular Hungarian person who devised a method called Kodai method. So that method
Right.
is the one that I'm trying. It is actually, you look at folk songs of the various countries and then start
Okay.
teaching through folk songs. So I'm still in the process. I've already collected over 250 folk songs from the sources, and me and Dr. Lee,
Right.
Dr. Robert Lee, right now is not too well. It requires me to go
Okay.
back to America and teach with him, but it is in the
Okay.
process. Yes.
Okay. So we'll
Yes.
be waiting for its release. So
Yes.
tell me
If he
something.
can
Yeah.
come to India, or with
Okay.
him
Okay.
Skype. Maybe now the Skype is there, so I can do it through
Right. Right.
Zoom or Skype. I can sit with him and do it.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me something. We've like seen COVID and we've seen this war going on. So anything, I mean, what is one thought that comes to your mind that hope is not yet lost after seeing so many disasters?
Yeah, it never gets lost. If you start thinking that, oh my God, this is going to be the end of the world and that is going to be the end of the
Yeah,
world. Nothing ever is
right.
the end of the world, because after some time you realize that it's just a cycle, and you just have to have fortitude and equanimity. You must have
Yeah, right.
equanimity, and you must have fortitude, and you must learn how to go through it. Maybe when, if you're younger, then you don't know, oh my God, it might lead to a very devastating situation. But over the years you realize that
Yeah,
no, and you also tend to make a, we Indians are very smart. We two things we know. One is
right.
jugaad. We're very good at jugaad. And we there are three things actually. One thing is
That
jugaad.
is it.
Second thing is we're very good in saving. We are very good, we keep
Yes.
saving as a part of our lifestyle. And thirdly, we live in
Right,
large
right, right.
families. We also live with our in-laws, and we live with our other people. So the community network and the home network becomes a very strong superstructure, support structure for all of us. So that helps.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
So, what is the latest project you're working on? Would you like to speak about it?
Uh,
Anything?
Quite a bit, quite a bit. I'm working on IGNOU. I'm working on IGNOU.
Okay.
I'm writing courses for their modern Western theater. Just given, I have to write on modern classical. I write on Western theater. Western theater is my specialization. That's
Okay. Okay.
IGNOU. Then I also have about adults working on a play with me, Agatha Christie's Mousetrap, which is going to be done in Hindi.
Wow. That's
And then we're going to be
right.
celebrating Earth Day. We're going to be celebrating Earth Day as a part of the Purple Umbrella Foundation, and also be celebrating the World Heritage Day at Patna Museum. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's
Two
quite a
things.
lot of projects you're doing. Right.
Well, you
So
have to.
anything you would like to?
When you're a yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
Right.
please go ahead.
Mm, anything
As
you
a
would like to add
freelancer,
on? Yeah.
yeah, as a freelancer, you are required to do at least two projects, three projects a week. Now only three
Okay.
per week. There was a time I would do three per day, but now three per week, which means one is non-paid, which can be on
Right.
charity, and two should be paid. And that's how
Okay.
you can only make up your freelancing projects and get some money, because I'm a freelancer, so I work
Correct.
project to project. And if you work project to project, you have to, like, I don't have a project next month. In fact, I have a project, but a I don't have two paid projects. I have only one
Okay.
paid project. So I have to start
Okay. Okay.
looking for a paid from right now itself. So it's a
Okay.
very simple thing. You just get into it's a process. You
Yeah.
know how to do it. You start ringing up, start
Right.
ideating
Right.
for that. So it just happens. It's nothing like so complicated.
Right. So your work life is really very hectic. So after work, how do you take a break? Like, what are your hobbies and to chill
Okay,
out?
yeah, I'll tell you that I have a beautiful piano that I
Oh,
definitely. I'm not a pianist, as I said, I'm a guitarist, but I definitely pick up something on the net and I practice my piano for about half an hour. It gives me a lot of peace. I walk.
Okay.
I have one or two very, very close friends that I talk to. If I'm really feeling like
Right.
having a conversation with them, I do it. And then in the night, I listen to a lot of music. I listen
Right.
to a lot of music. I might listen to music till about 2 in the night or 3 in the night and go off to sleep
Right.
in the
Right.
music with the music on. So that gives me kind of a time filler. But I don't talk to strangers or that. I'm not a very social person, so I don't go for parties and I don't go for all these
Okay.
things. Twisted. I'm rather like shy and all that. So, but I manage it because I already am doing a lot of meeting people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Your
already
work
meet a lot
involves
of
a lot
people.
of, yeah, your work involves a lot of
Yeah, a lot of
interaction with people and
meeting.
children.
Yeah,
So, I
yeah.
mean, is it, I mean, how is it to interact with children versus adults, like when you're working on a project?
It's amazing. But every age group, I find it, different to interact with them.
Right, right.
They could be 16 and 17-year olds. They're different. If they're 6 and 7, they're different. If they're 3 and 4, they're different. So every age group is different, and the adults are very different. So every age group gives me a great moment of interaction and learning and etc. So
Right.
beyond that interaction, I don't feel like doing a social interaction and having a party and meeting people and enjoying and this and that, because then I'm like, oh my god, I'm meeting another set of people. So I try to
Yeah,
keep calm.
it gets very taxing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's
it
already
it
meeting
gets very
people,
taxing.
you're already there. Like I just went to Sun City World School the other day, 2 days ago. I was a chief guest, so there were already 600 people there who I met up in the
Yeah,
sense, and
my
I
God,
saw children. So that's 1,000 children, 1,000 people in one day, and then after that
my
you have another
God.
50 people. So that's a lot of people. So then you say, "Okay, I've already met 1,050 people this week, so I can't meet another 50 or a party or a 20 in a party." But yes, I do have some of my
Right, right.
close friends who might call me and I might just go over. Yeah. Yeah. And it
Okay,
takes
so
a
one
lot of
last
you, no?
question.
It takes a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One last
Please go
question.
ahead.
What are your thoughts for today's Gen Z, as they say? Because Gen Z is a real difficult group to handle.
Okay. That's what people say, that they're very difficult. And my son is also Gen Z. I don't
Even
think
my
they're
son
difficult.
is.
I think they're
Okay,
different. I think they're different. They're not difficult.
okay,
They're different. So you
okay,
have to kind of with your own child, and it's a different. It's a different thing. You can't tell your children. You just have to let them be. And
yeah,
they, if you give them a sense of maturity and responsibility at the very young ages, uh,
right,
like just to start, like, just to end it in a funny note, like I never went for any of my son's PTMs, parent teacher meetings. I never went. I'll be very honest with you. I never went. I said, why would I go if
okay,
it is really something which is majorly going wrong? Then I'll go. I don't need to find an assessment about
okay,
how he's doing. So then I would tell my husband, I would say, why don't you go instead? And of course, whenever he was available, he would go. So finally, when my son was in class 11, and by God's grace, he did very, very well in class 10. I said, listen, I'm coming to your school today for the PTM. So he laughed and he said, no, you're not coming. I said, क्यों? He said, पहले तो कभी भी नहीं आती हो, आज जब मैं अच्छा कर रहा हूँ आना चाहती हूँ सबको बताने के लिए, then I am your son. So you see, they are
that's
very
so cute.
right? They're very. You have to send them the sense of responsibility. Like, listen, if you don't do your homework, your mother's not going to be held accountable for you not doing your
Right,
homework.
right,
So I went to the school principal and said, "अगर वो homework नहीं करता, why am I getting punished?" Okay, I
right,
punish my son the way I. There are three things I can do to punish my son if he doesn't do homework. Number one, I can make him. You can make him stay up after school and clean the library because he loves to read books. So tell him to clean the library. That's one
right,
punishment. The
right.
second punishment, I sit in the school with him, and then the homework gets done. But in the school, not at home.
Yeah,
Third, I will give him 1 kilo aloo and 1 kilo pyaz and make him sit outside the school, and he will sell aloo pyaz. And however, but third will realize that and my son knows I'll do it. He said, Mama, please don't come with aloo pyaz. So you see, you have to realize that you have to be very strong also. You have to make the
right,
child
right.
realize that responsibility ultimately lies with you. So now my son or any Gen Z, you have to tell, we are very overprotective. We're very overprotective.
Yeah, that's the,
नहीं नहीं
we are. Yeah.
नहीं वैसे ऐसे नहीं, उसको देखो, वो बच्चा को देखो, ये बच्चे को देखो. All that happens with Indian parents, especially if we just learn through, parenting is not that tough. Parenting is quite
Yeah,
easy.
we can't go through parenting by the book. It's not possible.
Yeah,
It is just
it's just
our
it's just
experiences
our,
and our
yeah.
love. Yeah,
Yeah, and
right,
Gen
right.
Z also, you can you have to actually speak what they like. You have to tackle them from what they like to what they dislike, rather than what they dislike to
Right,
what they
right,
like. They, yeah,
right.
they're not very difficult at all. No, I don't think they're difficult. They're different, but they're not difficult. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So, would you like to just share a message for Zena family?
Well, for the family, Zena family, I would say, just do what you're doing, and uh, kind of whatever you're doing, just be telling people about it. And I'm a different kind of a member, that I don't kind of I'll be very honest with you, I don't have the time, I don't even pick up the calls. And of course I'm there and I meet up, but I don't pick up the calls. I'm not there for all the. So there are people like that. There would be maybe members like that too, who don't pick up calls and who don't are not very active. There might be some people who are very active, some people who are not
Right.
very active. So let's accept each other the way we come, and the way we all will interact with each other further on. Yeah.
So it was lovely chatting with you, Gauri. And apart from the technical glitches, the session was very nice. I really loved listening to you, especially about your projects.
Thank you so much.
And I would love
Yeah.
to read
Thank
the book when it's out. And really
Well, the
nice
book will
connecting
take
with you.
to be honest with you, the book might take a lot of time because Dr. Lee is
No problem. No
very,
problem.
very,
We will wait.
very, very
We will
unwell. But
definitely
then
wait.
it's done, and even if he's not, I hate to use the word around because he is very,
Yeah, I
very unwell.
understand.
Not
I
around,
understand.
the book will happen. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
lovely connecting
And
with
my
you and wish you all the best for your future projects.
and don't worry about the technical glitches. It happens
That's
all the
okay.
time.
Yeah, I know. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.